on Facebook, maybe.
I hear you. I think we're back up on Facebook.
All right. So, yep, we're back up on Facebook. Confirmed. Sorry about that, everybody. I had some kind of power surge here. I'm back up. Hello to Michael Raven Charms. Sorry about that, everybody. I don't know what was the last thing everybody heard, but we're back up and running. So I guess maybe repeat the last 30 seconds of what you said if you can kind of try and remember, everybody. Go ahead.
Basically what we were saying, I don't know if GQ got his thing in, is that I kind of wish that we had somebody on the panel right now that saw the movie, saw a different movie than us, because I'd really like to understand, but maybe we'll get that during the spoiler show, because the things need to be talked about. I like to understand. I mean, I want people to have their own opinion, and I'm not trying to change the opinion. I just want to understand, because like if I'm sitting there and I'm getting what's going on and they're explaining it going on, I like to understand what that person did not see, because I saw somebody on Facebook, and I don't know if they were being a troll. I don't know if they were serious. They said a 0 out of 5, and I'm like, what movie did you see? Yes.
No, they couldn't be serious, man. No way.
No, this was not somebody I'm versed with. It was the wife of somebody who we all know. Not trying to put him out on blast or whatnot, but I want
I know understand. Man. Yeah, okay.
I want to understand. I'm like, I don't understand what you were watching, because I need to understand. I mean, just if something sucks, you can tell me. You can be able to speak in a way where you can portray your thoughts and say, this is what I liked, what I didn't like, I didn't like it, this about this movie. But when people just blanket statement stuff, just say, oh, it sucked. I'm like, bro, what? I mean, what?
But here's my thing with all of them, and my challenge to all of them is, okay, you can say it, you don't like it, or it sucks. But if you can't say anything beyond that and explain why, then you're a coward.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's why I wish somebody could do that. Because I'm not trying to argue, I'm not trying to change your fucking opinion. You can have your fucking opinion. We can both eat the same goddamn hamburger at White Castles, and you can think it's shit, and I can love it. You can tell. You should be able to say why it tastes like shit. You can be like, oh, the bread is dry, or the meat. I don't like meat because they kill animals and they grind it up, or I'm not a big fan of onions because blah blah blah. You should be able to say what it is. Just blanket it. So,
yep. It was too sad. I didn't like it.
Oh my god! I didn't want to cry. I was holding back the tears, and I didn't want to cause. Oh my gosh! Like, shut up.
The same person probably thought
He's
something.
Like, shut up.
No, we're not getting.
That's hilarious.
Nah, we ain't gonna go there. Never mind.
Oh man!
I don't know. Like sometimes it is just.
Hilarious.
Sometimes it is just very weird when you just try. It's frustrating when you. Because I've had to get to the point where it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to just stop thinking so hard, because sometimes people just think and just say things and really don't understand why they're saying it, and it's just, some people are just natural contrarians just to be so a lot of the times, and it's just. Especially now, because especially with Game of Thrones things, everybody was like, was that cool thing? Was like, well, I don't watch Game of Thrones. Okay, good for you. Like, okay, everybody else is. It's like, what is this thing? Like, when you see people excited about something, you always got that one person come on. Well, I don't watch it.
Yeah, just because they want to be known that they don't watch it.
Yeah, like people that do that with Game of Thrones, like every week is like, I've never watched an episode of Game of Thrones. Like. Really? Okay, shut up. Who cares about you right now? We're excited about what we're excited about. Go ahead. Go do your.
Like, I ain't never watched a Marvel movie. I don't know what Endgame is so great about.
Or the last thing I heard is comic book movie fatigue, and I'm like, then you obviously don't like
that doesn't
comic
exist.
Books.
There's no such thing.
I personally don't understand that, and I made the argument that if you like video games, you're gonna just say, oh, there's video game fatigue because there's companies still making video games. It's like that's what they do. If they sell, people can keep making it. You can say I don't like video games anymore.
Right.
That is a better statement to me than it's a fatigue. I'm just getting tired of it. It's like, what are you getting tired of? Every freaking comic book movie that comes out is telling a different story, and it's just an action movie with a comic book theme. I've never heard anybody say, well, I don't want action movie fatigue or comedy movies or rom-com fatigue. It's like, huh? I mean, I don't know. So, oh boy.
I agree with you 100% on that, because it is odd that all of a sudden comic book fatigue is supposed to be a thing, when it's like, realistically, 22 movies over an 11-year period is not a lot.
It's not.
It's just the fact that they did they told a cohesive, long-standing saga of a story.
Hey, they kind of did it like how comic books do it, right? Take a long time.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, like I said, that's why most quote unquote comic book fans, when I usually have, if they come from, and this is mean, and I still don't care, if they come from the side of, oh, I read the comics and I know everything from the comics, that's good. That's great. That's so cute. But realistically, these are films that gross way more than comic books will ever even try to make in reality. Like, let's just be real. Endgame has probably made more money than the entire 10-year run of any comic book you want to name right about now. I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah.
So I'm just being real. Money talks, bullshit takes the taxi cabs. But
taxi cab, I'm not sure that that's one how it goes, but okay.
Right.
I got you.
But I'm just saying, it's like, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, comic books are a small little they might be the inspiration, but they are not where the money is made. That's not where the bread is buttered.
Right. And comic book fatigue, they've been trying to say that for 15 years. They've been saying it for 15 or so years. Really since like X-Men first came out, when Spider-Man, like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies were coming out. They've been trying to say it since back then, and it just never made any sense to me for them to say, okay, comic book fatigue. It was almost like it was like the Steven Spielbergs of the world, the ones that don't like comic book movies because it detracts from their, I hate saying it, their old way of making movies or other IPs that they were making, and it's taking attention from them. It's almost like it's just fear mongering, and that's all it is. Like, it'll be tired when it's tired. Don't try and say it's going to be tired tomorrow, because you're probably going to be wrong. Just let it play out. When it's tired, it's tired, and I don't see it ever really being tired, because they can keep. As Cap likes to say, they can do this all day.
Really,
they could.
It's funny. You know what fads actually kind of went out like faster than like comic books? Found footage movies. Like, those came and went.
Oh yeah, like the Blair Witch Project and those movies. Oh yeah. Paranormal Activity. Yeah. You're right.
Now the new fad is horror remakes. This is a new fad. So it's like, okay, now what else are they going to remake? We're getting now. Granted, there's some things that probably maybe look forward to with the new Child's Play, but still, it's going to fall into that category of being another horror remake. Then they're supposed to do another remake of Friday 13th, another one of Nightmare on Elm Street, and so on. It's like, there's going to be another thing, and like all the power in the world to Jordan Peele. He's making a remake of Candyman. That's great, but once again, it's gonna start following the criteria to where people are gonna start getting sick of it, and then they're gonna have to go to a new fad. Comic book movies themselves just have so much invested in them because of the history that those comics have. So I really feel like comic book movies are probably. It stands to outlast a lot of other tropes, to be honest, because of how much history comic books have had, and just how big pop phenomenons that they've been since the late 80s, roughly. So it's like, You know, I mean, until like comic books started like kind of getting a rep of you know, because once they had the same rep as video game movies. Video game movies still have the same rep, but they still manage to still crank those out somehow or another. So, because just remember, everybody that did see the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer, remember there's a Monster Hunter movie coming out this year too.
Oh, dude, I tried to
Totally
forget
forgot
about
about
that.
that.
Oh man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh man. See, look, you know what? That's just a reminder to say it always could be worse. There's always something worse out there. And that's you know, we haven't even seen the trailer. We should be like Dido. That Monster Hunter trailer could be the most fire thing ever, man.
It could be. I mean, the
It could be the
trailer, you
most
don't
fire
know.
thing ever.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what T.I. does in Monster Hunter World.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
but let me see. Oh yeah, Matt in the chat brought up that Free Comic Book Day is a Saturday. We will be doing a live stream.
Yes,
on this
we
Saturday.
will. I'm glad you said that. Let's go ahead and show the. We're gonna do a special episode at Green Brain Comics this coming Saturday. It's gonna be GQ and myself. We're gonna be hosting it right here on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook channel. It's also gonna be co-broadcasted over on the Green Brain Comics Facebook channel. But we'll be live in the comic book shop, and taking part of all the festivities. Just, you know, me and him, we're gonna have a good time talking and interacting with the people. Might have a few special guests. We don't know exactly who right now. We can't name them, but we'll figure we'll be on live for a couple of hours this coming Saturday, starting, what did we say? Like, I think at 10 o'clock we were gonna start the stream. 10 a.m.
I don't think it's gonna start that early.
Okay.
People,
All right.
people
Well,
might not even be up.
yeah, we might not even be. Maybe we'll do it at from 11 to 1 or something like it. We'll figure it out. But whatever time we do it, make sure you're following us right here on our Facebook channel. We'll let you know. And also over on our check out the Facebook page of our friends over at Green Brain Comics and give them a follow too. Great people, Dan and Katie. Great people. And we want to thank them for inviting us to take part in the festivities and broadcast like we did a couple of years ago. Now, back to Avengers Infinity War. So
wait, why is Elle so quiet over there?
Yeah, she is quiet. You know, I don't know. Maybe she's just waiting to get in where she fit in. Girl, you know, hey, we get to talking, you're going to have to learn to just, you know, just start throwing some elbows, you know, like boom, 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 and just get on up in there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you got to unmute yourself, too, if you're going to, you know.
Right. Like, don't be muting don't mute yourself when we start talking, because you might not get a chance to speak anymore once we get going. So what you gonna say? Well, I mean, she still ain't saying nothing.
I don't know.
I mean, she just waiting, just like
she's like extra quiet.
I know, right? She just
I'm
like,
sorry.
why? Just why? You just trying to be quiet and mysterious. Is that
Yeah.
it? Is that it?
That's it.
That's it. So all this stuff that we done said, even with, you know, the power going out and stuff like that, you ain't got nothing to say. You ain't had nothing. Oh, look, she's talking. She muted herself again.
I'm saying, y'all were talking about Endgame, but I was trying to be respectful because you know I would get on here and tell that whole movie. So I'm trying to fall back.
Okay.
I know power went
Wait,
out,
so
but
so
I'm
you
just-
saying you can't help yourself? You can't help yourself from talking?
No.
Hell, come
You
on,
want me
man.
to talk
You-
about it?
it's
No.
Really?
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, like, it's not like everybody don't know that the Flash gave Hawkeye the Speed Force in like the last fight. Everybody know that.
See, I don't do all that. See, I don't do.
You don't do them obviously fake.
Yeah, no, I don't do all that.
Oh, so in other words, you don't want to talk about the movie until you can talk about the movie.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got you.
Oh, we ain't talking about the movie proper until May 6th.
Right.
At the
That's right.
earliest.
Yeah. We want to
I'll
give
wait.
everybody a chance to see this film, and then we're gonna go ham. We're gonna go in on this movie because, man, there's even 2 weeks later, there's gonna be a lot to talk about and breaking down this
Well,
movie.
it's-
Like,
it's-
you know,
It's
you
not
know,
even
'cause
just that. I can't wait to like just destroy hopes and dreams of all the haters.
hopes and dreams.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're already destroyed at this point.
I mean, honestly, man, you know what?
Because I need to.
You just dig the knife in even further,
right? Because you know what? A lot of people were talking about. They were hoping that Captain Marvel, wasn't gonna end up being the one. Oh, she's the most powerful. She's gonna end up taking out Thanos by herself and all this other kind of stuff. And I was like, really, dude, really? Oh,
well, again, it goes back to until you get a couple $100 million
right
out of your pocket and put these movies together. They don't care what you think. They're going to put out the movie that they're going to put out. It's already been written. It's already been filmed.
Yeah, I actually thought it was funny because I actually had a friend, I'll say friend, that he claimed that he supposedly didn't like Captain Marvel because he said she was too strong. And I'm like,
what? Come on. How do they quantify these things?
It's like, wait a minute, wait. It's like, dude, you do know what her power set is when she goes binary, right? Like, she was nerfed the entire movie.
I can't. I can't with these people. I can't.
It's
don't
like, dude. It's
understand.
Like, do y'all like not know that Carol Danvers is a powerhouse? Like, do y'all not know that?
Don't understand. See, and I guess that's the thing that gets me. It's people using their obvious naivete about a character to make base judgments about them. And then when they see them in their full glory, it's like, okay, you know what? I was watching Collider. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I was watching Collider, right? I was watching Collider Avengers discussion. In fact, I shared it in the chat. You guys should go and see it. But they were talking about, and the girl on there was talking about Thanos. He was like, oh, I just thought, Thanos was just too strong. I'm like, what? Like, what? What are you talking about?
Right.
Like,
isn't that kind of the point?
It was like, Thanos was just too strong. Oh, well, he was just sitting there beating up the Hulk and all this other kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's who he is. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, and he didn't even need to use the stones. And obviously we're talking about Infinity War. I'm like, yeah, because that's who he is. Like, he's supposed to be this insurmountable force that is already formidable, and then you go ahead and give them these all-powerful magic rocks that make him basically a god over the entire universe, and it's just like, how are you supposed to beat this guy? Here, newsflash, you don't. That's the thing. And that was the whole purpose of the first movie. And I think that's what shook a lot of people. Were like, oh yeah, Thanos is strong, but at the end the Avengers are going to win because that's the name of the game. No, you're not supposed to beat him. That's the point.
Again, it goes back to they don't understand how storytelling works.
Exactly.
I mean, I honestly really wish we could talk more about it, but it's just too. Like all I can say is that I know a lot of folks complained about Thanos in Infinity War, like, because we were talking about like the supposedly humanizing thing before, but the only thing that I would say without spoiling it is that the Thanos that we get in Endgame
is more in line of the Thanos that they were thinking they were going to get.
Yeah, and it was very glorious. That's all I'm going to say
great.
Without spoiling it.
No, it was really good.
Great. Like the setup for it and everything was awesome. Like it's just, it was like, dude, like y'all. It's like, look, either version of Thanos, I don't want to mess with because either way it go, the dude believes he's doing what must be done, regardless on what end of the spectrum he's on. He still believes what he's doing is the right thing. Right. Like that is like one of the most dangerous villains you could run across is like somebody that's the hero in their own mind.
Oh yeah. Every villain is the hero in their own mind. Absolutely. Like literally, like the Joker, he thinks he's the hero because he just wants to make Batman laugh, and he's going to do whatever he can in order to do it. It's like, isn't this funny? Anyway. So should we go ahead? Like, should we talk about how does Endgame set up the future of the MCU, or should we just table that until a future discussion? Because
I think
honestly, future discussion. Anything you talk about is going to be a giveaway.
Yeah, it's gonna have to, because the thing is, this movie plants seeds for a lot of things, and it's
okay.
We can't really say it, we can't say said things without really spoiling the Endgame.
A Hand of Omega brings up a good question. He said, maybe it's a good thing the DCU collapsed. Could their version of Darkseid be any different or better than Thanos? Yes, he absolutely could have been. But here's the problem. They weren't patient enough to actually build up to something like a Darkseid. So we'll probably never know. And that's a very sad thing, honestly.
No, actually, no, it's not, because again, their impatience is like they killed Superman right off the bat with Doomsday.
Yeah, man.
It's like, no, y'all couldn't even wait
2 years and being a hero.
Right,
2 years
even wait. Y'all couldn't even wait for like the dude that would, but granted, Doomsday did kick his ass and kill him.
Yeah.
But y'all could have at least had Darkseid come in and kick his ass, and that be the cliffhanger for your, bringing him back to, can he fight against Darkseid in the second Justice League movie? No. We want to jump the gun, and we want, name drop Darkseid.
Do you understand? Do you understand how bad that is? Dude was Superman for 18 months, and then they killed him. 18 months. We're not talking not even 2 years. Not even 2 years. 18 months, and they couldn't wait to kill him. Oh my God, it's so bad. I'm sorry, El. How you doing? El, how you doing over there? How are you doing over there?
That's Elle's favorite movie. You leave her alone.
It's her favorite movie ever of life. Like, that was the greatest thing ever. She over there. If y'all can see her face right now. Oh, man. Oh, man. 18 months. 18 months. In story time. I
also love the fact that Batman's been around for 20 years and no one seemed to mention him.
Ever.
And Gotham is right across the bay.
Well, again, if you don't have a plan, you don't put together things in a cohesive way. That's just the end of that discussion. It's always been the same end of that discussion. Yes. They were trying to chase somebody else's success. And that is the fastest road to failure, because you can't do what they did unless you are following and walking in their same shoes and in their same footsteps.
Yes, sir. And it's like I said, it's like, look, we rag on BVS a lot, but it's only because we want their products to be good.
No, I rag on them because they deserve it.
And yes, they do deserve it.
I like beating dead horses in the glue right there on the side of the street. I ain't sending no.
It's like, look, at this point, like, the only thing DC can really do right now is they're just gonna have to just focus on just solo offshoots and just making those individually competent at this point.
And honestly, that's really sad. That's really sad.
It is sad.
It's beyond sad, because it's like we've seen what can be and what can happen when it's done right. And you've had these godlike characters that have been around for DC for forever, for all of our lifetimes, and it's just like, that's the best y'all got? Okay.
See, Michael Raven Charns, I like guys like him. I like him. Thank you for joining the show, and thank you for asking that question. He says, if you guys had power over the world of DC, what would you do? What would you do?
Kill off
First of
Aquaman.
all, no, that would not be the first thing I'd do. He'd have to stay. Here's what I would do. I would table all Batman related films. And make there's got to be a minimum moratorium on solo Batman films. He just doesn't need it. You need to establish everybody else that's important in that franchise without him being a part of it. Now, you can mention him. You can mention him and know that he exists, but the story needs to be just like on Marvel's side. The story needs to be about these lesser known characters, and you need to build a framework. So I would do similar to the way that they did with Shazam, where you have Shazam existing in a world, you have Aquaman existing in the world, you have Wonder Woman existing in the world. Kind of, I don't want to say it's a Marvel blueprint, but it's kind of the Marvel blueprint. I mean, I'm saying it without saying it.
It's a comic book blueprint. It's just
literally, that's literally, that's literally how you have to do it. It's like, and can you? do you have to do like with Marvel and do the whole tease with Darkseid throughout it? I don't know, GQ. I say no. I don't. I say no. You don't necessarily have to tease Darkseid throughout all of the individual movies, but I'm not going to argue against them doing it, honestly.
All right. Well, your Batman less DC is not going to work, but I'll just let you. I'll let you think that it's going to work.
Yeah.
No, it'll work. It will work. Yeah, no, it will work.
No, it won't.
Yeah,
Batman is the only reason that DC actually was getting movies done for a long period of time. Now, granted,
I don't care. They need to be without it.
Superman started it off. Superman started it off. But if it was not for Batman with Michael Keaton, if it was not for Batman Begins, Batman Begins, the success of that is the only reason the DCEU even had a chance to start. Because Green Lantern sure as hell wasn't going to be it. So
Green
Batman
Lantern,
Batman is the reason that DC is still around and still competing.
Nah,
so
they need to get off of his. They need to get his. They're not going
to be able to. They're not going to be able to do that. What I would they don't know what to do.
Honestly, this is what I would do. I would essentially, just to kind of stay. It's like I would try to utilize specific like Batman properties and not directly use Batman, and just have him just like, just foreshadow or whatever. Because it's like I would do like, say for instance, I would start with like a Nightwing film first. Just focus on him being Nightwing, and probably build a story from there. And maybe do like an offshoot of like Red Hood and Outlaws, just something of that, just something that's building that up. And we know that he's there already established and all of that, but focus on at least the protege characters that went out on their own.
Okay, Sony and Venom.
I didn't say never use Batman. I just said start somewhere.
Again, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, you're just doing what Gotham did for all these years and limped along, trying to act as if
Gotham is off now.
Trying to act as if all of these things that center around Batman or caused by Batman can happen without Batman.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not just throwing like the catalyst away, because this is the thing, to avoid having to do the whole thing with seeing Bruce's parents get killed and all that shit again, because the thing is, it's like Spider-Man, we've had that story done time and time again. Will we eventually get a pretty decent Batman? Of course, but the thing is, we could take a break from Bruce for a little bit, just try to have like that establishment of the have already having the proteges and them doing this, that, and whatever, because it's like,
all right, let me
can I say this? Can I say this real quick? By God, do not make Batman old. Do not make him old.
Yeah, we get that, but again, you guys seem to be struggling with you guys seem to be struggling with one major thing. Name a DC character that can carry a movie that is not a member of the Justice League.
Not a member of the Justice League.
Yeah.
Does Booster Gold count or no?
Does what?
Does Booster Gold count or
Booster Gold can't carry a movie.
Okay.
I mean, because he would depend. Booster Gold would definitely depend too much on the other heroes that he idolized and came back from the future in order to emulate. Oh, yeah, he's right. He wouldn't be able to carry a movie. Not a member of the Justice League and carry a movie.
I mean, like half the. I mean, the thing
what? Honestly,
the majority of the heroes are in the Justice League. Though.
Yeah. So.
And that is what their problem is, because if you notice, look at what Marvel did. Now, granted, they took lemons and made lemonade out of the original, not original, but the Avengers that they had access to.
Mm-hmm. Or Iron Man, Captain America.
Right. Yeah. If you look at those films, Guardians of the Galaxy, they're their own thing. They took a basically relatively, for most intents and purposes, unknown team and turned them into household names. Mm-hmm. They took what is that? They took Ant-Man and made him interesting for people that never ever liked the character. Now, granted, Ant-Man is an original Avenger, or Hank Pym was.
Yep.
But what I'm getting at is they're taking all of these offshoot weird ass things and making you like them. And DC's problem is they've had characters that we've known since we were kids, and most kids have known about or heard of or seen in action or done something, or whether or not. And they can't seem to understand what makes these characters tick because they keep giving them to directors that don't understand or respect the characters.
Oh,
so
hey, GQ, I think I got one for you. I got one that can carry a movie. The Apache Chief.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, my man, he doesn't even know who Apache Chief is.
I don't.
Apache Chief was on Super Friends. Every time he said his name, he grew bigger.
Yes, Apache Chief. Yeah, he grew like a super.
I'm straight on that. I'm straight on that. Oh man, but I mean, you make a good point. It's like anybody who is at least not in the core Justice League, it's hard to really carry a movie now.
Exactly.
Again, but it's like the only other thing, it's like that's why I was like thinking, because of maybe it'd be a good idea to kind of sort of bring Batman in through the eyes of his former proteges, like just kind of like do that thing. But because I mean, it's kind of like what GQ always says, Batman has been DC's bread and butter for decades. Anything Batman related is going to make money. And as much as I can't stand it, the thing is, I would at least focus on, at least do like a build up through the characters that I at least like them, that people could relate to the most. It's like the thing is, people can relate to the proteges more than Bruce himself. People just like Bruce because he's dope and can do all this stuff and prep time and all that other bullshit. But the thing is that people really enjoy Dick Grayson. A lot of people enjoy Jason Todd. A lot of people enjoy Tim Drake to a degree, and it's just like, if you kind of like,
I know she didn't put Damien on that list.
No, I hate that little shit. See, the reason why is because Damien is literally Bruce if he was just younger. Like, he's literally everything Bruce could have been as a kid if he had the exact type training. The only difference is that I can agree with Damien just a little bit more, but he is an arrogant little shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, once again, it's like, all I'm saying is that, like, those are characters that people could relate to more. And like, that's why I think it would probably be interesting to kind of like lead up to Batman through their eyes. And maybe, just maybe, we could at least like have like a really well done Batman who's a detective, can be a bit, what's the word? Neurotic and all that shit. Like someone that's like that, a little strange, has a good heart, but just, whatever. But like the thing is that like you got to have the detective stuff. You got to have the fighting skills down, because like I said, take any good thing. The only good thing you can really take away from BVS is the warehouse scene. It's the only good thing you can really take away from it. So it's like, keep that, but just get rid of everything else and just make a better Batman with that combat. And it's just like, that's why I just really think that right now they really do have to focus on characters that people can relate to more. People just like Batman because he's cool, but you can't really relate to him. Like, one of the things that made Iron Man cool over time was like he literally had been taken down a peg more and more to where he became a bit more relatable. It's like Bruce is like, okay, your parents died, but what else you got going? It was like, because I mean, it's like I said, you can follow his story, especially like if you look at the Nolan trilogy, but it's like, I mean, usually it's like everything else that made that made the movie more interesting. It wasn't necessarily Bruce himself. But
I don't know.
That's just how I think of it. But like I said, if we're going to lead to Batman, that's how I would do it. For Superman, I'd still probably would have somewhat gone the Man of Steel route, but not completely.
They should have done Man of Steel 2 before they even tried to do Batman vs Superman or tried to do Justice League.
That's why I'm sticking with that. That's why I'm sticking with that.
Flash, unfortunately, it might be too late, and the Flash needs a complete rework. Yeah. Flash needs a complete rework. If we're being perfectly honest, like they gotta jettison everything involved or related to the Ezra Miller incarnation of the Flash. If they can possibly do it, no, they just need to get rid of it.
Aquaman, I would keep.
Aquaman, I would keep. Wonder Woman, I would keep.
Wonder Woman,
I'd keep.
I would keep her, but that origin's got to change a bit. Like I don't like that
How
whole
so?
like because
you don't like the whole demigod thing, but that's in keeping
the
with
demigod thing is fine. It's just because they took away the fish out of water dynamic away from her. Like it's like when you kind of took that dynamic out, and especially when Justice League came along, they literally had two of the same characters. Batman and Wonder Woman were the same character in Justice League. Because it's like she's been there for 100 years. She's rich, and all this or whatever. She wants to do this, that, and she's helping assemble it. Like they were the same character. That's what made the Wonder Woman solo movie good, because she was new to our world. Like all that was new to her. She was a fish out of water. That's what made her.
I would be very interested to see what Wonder Woman 84 is going to be next go. I'm really interested to see exactly what happens with that. But to GQ's point, I think because Batman is so strong, I think is also to DC's detriment, and I've been saying that for years. Because Batman is so easy to write for. He's so relatable. He's so likable. I shouldn't say relatable, but nobody around here is like sitting on millions of dollars and running across rooftops with stuff like that. So there's nothing really relatable about Batman. Hey, but people just like him. People just like him, and I get that. But at the same time, this hyper focus on the Bat has greatly hurt the brand in from the standpoint of actually developing more characters. Now, I will say this: DC Universe is doing a great job of developing non-Batman characters, even though Titans aside, Doom Patrol is doing really well. Swamp Thing looks like it's actually going to be really good for the limited run that it's going to have. But I just think that DC Universe is a really nice opportunity for them to develop some underappreciated characters. And who knows what Stargirl is going to end up being like. That's another character that I think might end up surprising a lot. So Michael Raven Charles says, to be honest, if Kevin Feige stepped down at Marvel Studios, whenever that would be in 2050, I'd like to see him go over to DC and take over the movie division. No, I don't think that'll ever happen. No, DC will write that man a check and say, you can just write your own ticket. We'll keep the money flowing into your bank account.
They can't afford them.
Yeah, DC couldn't afford it.
That's if Warner Brothers decide to just cut their losses and just sell DC Entertainment.
Yeah. Kevin Feige ever left Marvel, Warner's is gonna throw so much money. Hey, look, Disney will match whatever money. Whatever. Exactly. They could never afford him. Ever.
Exactly.
And Feige's on lock.
Yeah. And not only that, even if, let's say Warner Brothers got him, that doesn't mean that he's necessarily going to be able to recreate the same, the same spark, essentially, because Warner Brothers' whole corporate structure and hierarchy or whatever is different than Disney's. So there's definitely that difference. So I mean, you can, again, you just because you can take one piece out of the puzzle, I mean, you can solve the entire puzzle on the other side of things. Exactly. So it's just, now granted, now here's the thing, DC is doing great on TV. That's cute. That don't mean nothing. We're talking about movies. Movies are still where you make a lot of money. Yes, they take a lot to make, but I don't care what they're doing on TV. Everybody's like, oh, DC's doing so great in TV and comics. It's like, they don't mean nothing. Like, I'm talking about, they need to get something on the big screen that actually is just amazing.
And they already have the man they need, and they took him out of the spot. They had Jeff Johns. They took him out the spot, man, because they would,
So it is what it is. Ain't really weird, you know.
It is
Yeah.
like that's just how I did. That's just how I think it. Like just overall, because it's like because I actually had a discussion with somebody the other day where we was talking about like they didn't trust Jeff Johns like after Titans, and I was like, but it was just like, you know what? The thing is, like, he did try to help create the show, but he only wrote for like 4 episodes, and only 2 of them he wrote solely on his own. One which was the Doom Patrol episode, and whatever episode 9 was, like, which I think it had something to do with Hawk and Dove or whatever. But like those are the only 2 episodes that he solely wrote on. The other 2 episodes like were like him and 2 other people. You know, and it's just like a lot of the thing is that he has shown that he's capable of being a good writer, but again, he's not utilized to his full potential. That he could like pull this off like the way he's done. Because like, I mean, I don't know, like, did he have like more of a significant role in like the Arrowverse on CW at all?
Who that?
Jeff Johns.
He had 0 involvement with any of. That's all Greg Berlanti. That's it.
Okay. I was just wondering because like I didn't know whether or not like he was like had like any like hands-on involvement at all.
Not at all.
But yeah, it's just the thing is that they just really do not know what they just simply put, they don't know what the hell they're doing. They just don't.
Absolutely. Now, Hand of Omega just asked this question: did Warner's actually fire Jeff Johns, or is he still there? No, they fired him. He had a vice presidency with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they fired him. He wrote Shazam. He wrote Shazam. He wrote the screenplay for Shazam, but that is, from what I understand, officially the last thing that he actually greenlit and pushed forward. So after Shazam, Jeff Johns is out. That's it.
So I'm kind of wondering, like, even though Dwayne Johnson was EP on there, I wonder why that's kind of like with him stepping down and with whatever they're planning to, if they even plan to do Black Adam. Like, I'm kind of wondering, like, why like those rumors swirling around that Marvel been trying to get in touch with him. Nah.
Oh, well, see, all Rock said was that, you know, him and Kevin Feige, his people, his assistant, their people were trying to get them together for dinner. Now, we already know that Rock, you know, that the actors in both universes, they'll double dip, because Lawrence Fishburne has been in Marvel and DC. Jaimin Hansu has been in Marvel and DC. We know The Rock ain't got no problem taking a payday wherever it come from. So
exactly,
he ain't loyal to nobody. He'll go over there. He'll go to Marvel and put out something real nice, and I bet you, his Marvel project will come out before his DC project will. I bet you it would.
You know,
tell me I'm lying.
We were actually talking about. I think I was discussing this in another group. We should actually like do a poll of like what are like the top Marvel characters that he could play. Like I got my 5 already. I kind of already got my 5. Like one is Namor, the other is Beta Ray Bill, the other one is
I can't see him as Namor. I can't see him as Beta Ray Bill. I could see him doing pulling. I could see him pulling Hercules duty again.
I was gonna say that.
Funny.
I was gonna say Hercules.
That would be funny.
And then did I say Gladiator already?
No, you did not. The Gladiator actually would be kind of dope, I guess. No, Rock is too charming to be Gladiator. They wouldn't be able to stick him in. No, he has to play a role. He has to play a role that has charisma.
So more than likely Hercules.
So more than likely Hercules. But more than likely Hercules. Or what if they did Wonder Man?
I could see that.
If they did Wonder Man, I could see that.
Initially, I always thought Nathan Fillion for Wonder Man, but like I could see.
They kind of casted him halfway.
I know,
but that wasn't real.
It was like wasn't it like they were trying to get him as like a voiceover or something like that, or was it like a fan casting? Or...
I don't remember. It wasn't a fan cast. It was like he was actually in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They had a they had a movie poster, I think. And it was Nathan Fillion, and he was billed as I forget what Wonder Man last name, Simon, whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that part was interesting. But Johnny Patton was like, "Why does this feel like a PlayStation and Xbox discussion? Get it together, Xbox, and where Xbox is DC." The Rock could play Wyatt Wingfoot. No.
What? No. No.
Rock will not be relegated. He's too much of a leading man in Hollywood. That's no. Wyatt Wingfoot. Couldn't see that. Anyway, guys, it's about to be 11 o'clock. But we're gonna go ahead and get out of here and wrap up the show. But don't forget to come back and join us. Join myself and GQ on Saturday when we broadcast live from Green Brain Comics. This Saturday, we don't know exactly what the starting time will be, but we will post the notice right here on our Facebook page and over there on our YouTube channel. If you haven't checked us out, please go to youtube.com/Culture Junkies and give us a subscribe and hit that little bell notification to make sure that you stay. Yep, hit that bell. Make sure that you stay notified of when we go live or when we post up new movies. So for my friends, GQ, for LGZ, for the Great Daddy Kuji, and for Fallen Marvel, I'm Kishiro. We'll see you guys later on. Hope to see you on Saturday. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night, Junkies.
You gonna say goodbye, L? Or you just gonna stay quiet?
Oh, she dipped.
Oh, she dipped out. Damn, she got tired of being ignored.
We tried to include you.
We sure did. Don't say that we didn't try. See you later, everybody.